Okay, so you have now learned a lot of verb tenses. How about a quick review? We have 3 ways to look at time: the past, the present, and the future. And for each time, we have 4 ways to express the verb: the simple tense, the progressive, the perfect, and the perfect progressive. That means you've learned 12 different ways to form verbs: the simple past, the simple present, the simple future, the past progressive, the present progressive, the future progressive, the past perfect, the present perfect, the future perfect, the past perfect progressive, the present perfect progressive, and the future perfect progressive. Just look at all these verb forms you've learned. That's a lot of verbs. The simple present expresses events or situations that happen habitually or that always exist. We use the simple present for facts, routines, and habits. I study grammar every day. I used the simple present because it is a routine. The simple past shows something began and ended at a particular time in the past. I studied grammar last night. The simple future shows something will happen at a particular time in the future. I will study tomorrow. The progressive tenses show an action is in progress at a particular time. If an action is in progress right now, we use the present progressive. We are studying verb tenses. For an action that was in progress at a particular time in the past, use the past progressive. I was sleeping when the alarm clock rang this morning. For an action that will be in progress at a particular time in the future, use the future progressive. Please don't call me at midnight. I'll be sleeping. The perfect tenses usually show the relationship between 2 different points in time. The perfect tense is used to express that one thing happens or happened before another time or event. Use the present perfect to show something happened before now. The exact time is not important. I've already studied all of the verb tenses. I used the present perfect to show that I studied the tenses sometime before now. The past perfect shows an action happened before another time or event in the past. I had finished all of my homework by the time class began. This sentence shows that I finished my homework before class began. The future perfect shows that an action will be completely finished before another time or event in the future. By the time you finish this video, you will have reviewed all of the verb tenses. This verb tense is not very common. And last, the perfect progressive tenses show that an action is in progress immediately before, up to, or until another time or event. The present perfect progressive shows an event began sometime before now and still continues right now. Maya has been studying grammar all day. The past perfect progressive shows an event was in progress in the past up to the moment of another action in the past. Alex had been preparing for weeks before he gave his speech. Both actions in the sentence occurred in the past, but he began preparing first and it continued up until he gave the speech. The future perfect progressive shows an action in the future will continue up to another action in the future. By the time Alicia graduates, she will have been studying at the university for 5 years. Both actions are in the future. She will continue studying up until her graduation. This verb tense is also not very common. As you read books or newspapers or internet articles in English, pay close attention to verb tenses. Look at how writers use the different tenses. When a writer changes from one verb tense to another, see if you can understand why the tense changed. Try to also listen for verb tenses in speech. With more awareness and practice, these verb forms will become easier.